Welcome to the Actionable ESG Talk series, brought to you by AKFI, the Actionable Knowledge Foundational Institute, the world's first non-profit industry association committed to bridging the gap between ESG, sustainability, and digital transformation. Actionable ESG Talk series bring together great minds to discuss the current state and future states of ESG, sustainability, and digital transformation and AI. I'm delighted to be here with our guest, Dr. Mohamed Tash, to talk about sustainability lessons from the oil and gas industries and all his great experience. Just to mention, Dr. Mohamed Tash is a seasoned sustainability professional with over 24 years of experience in enhancing organizational performance in health, safety, quality, environmental, and energy aspects. His passion for driving the transition to a sustainable future is evidenced through his professional roles, active industry engagements, and academic contributions at the university. Again, welcome, Dr. Tash, and very happy to have you here today. Very interesting and definitely very encouraging, because one of the key problems or the key problem in implementing analytics such as AI is good quality data. If you start with the industry talks about garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have good quality data, you cannot get good quality analytics, insights, and really quality auditing. So thank you. That's very interesting. And it makes me thinking also about how this applies to emissions in the supply chain, especially we call them scope 3, right? Upstream and downstream. There are many, there are, I think, 15 definitions of different types of scope 3. What how we can encourage the suppliers and support the suppliers to provide accurate and comprehensive emission data, because many times scope 3, it's 70, 80, maybe even 95% of the reporting by a customer, right?
Exactly, Manuel. As you said, scope 3 is one of the significant emission sources for many organizations, specifically for oil and gas companies. And let's be honest with you, it's still a challenge. Because many of the data related to the scope 3 will come from boundaries or from zones outside the boundaries of the organization. Okay? According to the GHG protocol, scope 3 is classified into 15 categories. Okay? The 15 categories of scope 3 started by the emissions from purchased goods and emissions from capitals, the emissions from transportation, whatever, from employee or business travel, emissions from products used by the organization, or emissions from the products of the organization itself. And if the product of the organization use whatever as intermediate product or as an end product, the emissions from waste generated, the emissions from downstream leased assets, upstream leased assets, all these categories must be accounted if the organization wants to include scope 3 in their portfolio. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get all this data from all your suppliers. But this challenge could be resolved through one key word: collaboration. Collaboration between the upstream suppliers and the downstream customers or clients. Collaboration in terms of capacity building, collaboration in terms of knowledge shared, collaboration in terms of technology improvement, collaboration in terms of continuous dialogue and honesty and transparency. All these channels could lead to improving the overall supply chain. And with a detailed plan and with continuous improvement, I believe the oil and gas companies can improve their scope 3 emissions, and also through regulation. I would like here to mention the significant role that regulation can play, because uh, we may have organizations or companies that will not work but under the clear organization, because clear regulation, because regulation will support these organizations in their actions, and will act as a driving force in order to make this organization to follow their emissions and to collect this data and to cooperate with different categories. Because uh, uh, scope 3 for my side, maybe scope 1 and scope 2 for the other side. So I have to encourage my suppliers, for example, to follow their emissions, to follow their scope 1 and scope 2 emissions, and to tell me and to inform me, so we can discuss together. You can improve your transportation pathway, you can improve your power generation pathway, you can improve your fuel energy mix through integrating renewable from this section. You can utilize solar, you can utilize wind, you can utilize biomass. All these actions, all this collective action will result in reducing the carbon footprint, the aggregated carbon footprint, which will reflect positively on all the scope of emissions, 1 and 2 for the suppliers, 3 for my side, and so on.
And thank you for bringing the issue of collaboration to start with the discussion about the supply chain. We at AKFI actually identify a major gap between the suppliers and their customers, as their business models are different. We look, for instance, at cars and tire manufacturers, and they have totally different contributions to the greenhouse gases, totally different issues like disposal for used tires. It's a major global problem, while the car companies are looking more at reducing the carbon footprints through electrification and so on. And what we identify is, before we start to talk about data, is, as you said, collaboration is between people. We still don't have AI collaborating with AI or system with systems. And we started to put together a framework, which we call it the sustainability request for information, because everything starts in a contract, in a contact between companies. It starts with a form which is called RFI, request for information. Do you have these capabilities and so on? And that's how we plan to help the industries informing each other about the requirements and their objectives and their strategies. And by the way, we talked a lot about reporting and management, but we have to think also, and I'll come back to this question actually, of ARAMCO and SABIC, how they use the technology such as AI, such as Internet of Things, to also look at sustainability in a strategic fashion. And to complete, you really mentioned already some of the strategies they are using for long term, like net zero 2050 by SABIC and so on. And going to that question is, how do you see the use of technology to participate in the strategic use for sustainability?
Yes, thanks, Manuel. And before answering this question, I would like to praise the role that you play as KFI in narrowing the gap between the different companies, specifically in supply chain. This is a significant role, and it will help in reducing the gap between the companies. For the technology and the role the technology can play in improving the sustainability in general, we can see that AI can play different rules, starting from optimizing the energy efficiency. AI can help in analyzing vast amount of data which are generated from different operations, and through analyzing this data, this vast amount of data, we can identify the several points of inefficiencies in the long value chain of energy, whether on the production, transmission, consumption. We can identify the hotspots of inefficiencies in each of these stages, or where do we have the gap, and then we can analyze this gap and report it. And here we have several companies like ADNOC, for example, from the UAE, has already started to take several milestones in improving and integrating AI into their operations. Also, AI can help in improving the integration of renewable energy into the portfolio mix of energy for energy companies. AI can help in managing the intermittency of renewable energy, and can help in analyzing the weather patterns, can help in analyzing the grid loads, and it will help in and all these points together can help in predicting the outcome of the solar or renewable power plants, and it will help in stabilizing and ensuring the reliability and efficiency of these plants. Here also, AI can help can take a major role in the predictive maintenance. Also, through analyzing the data which come from different energy infrastructures like pipelines, like turbines, like grids, to identify where the potential failure could be. And this will help in improving the quality of the maintenance, reducing the downtime of different equipment, and of course enhances the operational safety. So I believe these three pillars, in addition, of course, to predict the supply and the demand, all these actions together can be improved with using AI. But we have to consider also that AI, or integrating AI, it will need a lot of effort at the beginning in order to improve the AI literacy, in order to ensure the readiness, the level of readiness of infrastructure related to data management and sensors to be easily integrated with AI. And also, again, we need to ensure the quality of data in order to ensure that there is no any kind of bias, whatever systematic bias or statistical bias. And if there is bias, this bias needs to be investigated and to be also corrected in order to improve the overall efficiency of the process.
Well, again, multiple questions coming from, but before I start, I wanted to share something that you're probably familiar with, and is the integration of IoT, drones in particular, that go along the natural gas pipelines to sniff, to find losses along the pipelines, which are again the methane, the ethane that goes through the pipes. It's actually a major source of pollution. Less talked about it because we always say carbon footprint, but it's actually greenhouse gases footprint. So I think that's what technology that promises a lot to manage, again, current operations, not only at the production point like Aramco, but also at the transport point, which usually belongs to other companies. And that that constitutes the supply chain, right? The pipelines can be owned or are owned by other companies, or the ships and so on. So the very interesting use of AI. You also mention or touch on knowledge and innovation. We didn't use the innovation word, but what kind of innovations do you see happening from your experience right now in the use of AI, with probably combining with other technologies like you mentioned IoT? If you have any example about that, or
Yes, yes, yes. As you mentioned, the example of using the drones supported with AI tools in order to predict and to detect the methane emissions, which may be released from the value chain of oil and gas production along the value chain, like the transmission and distribution. And here, one of the usage that I would like to mention for AI is the use of AI to optimize AI. Okay, you know that many of the data centers now, which is the backbone, the main backbone for the AI revolution, will result in increase the consumption of power in order to operate these data centers. So we can use the AI in order to optimize the energy consumption inside these data centers. Like it will help in manage and optimize the cooling of these data centers. Okay, it will help in in optimizing the real time data, and all these actions together, like what we Google use right now in order to use AI to optimize the data centers of AI. It results in about reduction of 40% of the energy used to power the data center. So the integration between AI with the different utilities that may result in increase the energy production or energy consumption, sorry, it will help in increasing the utilization of AI, and on the same time reducing the energy demand and delivering the same value that we need in our life.
uh, actually, thank you for bringing the case of AI data centers, because that's a core issue at the moment. AI is still very high on energy consumption, and one of the way you describe it actually makes me think of the energy chain, right? From the time we extract and we consume some energy for the extraction process, refinement process, then we obtain the elements for producing energy like methane or oil or other oil products, and then we consume that, return this energy in the form of electricity, or transfer it in the form of electricity in power plants. And now when you bring it to the data centers, you mentioned Google, they are looking actually also on capturing the heat that results from the cooling systems, right? And reusing that heat, which is still energy, for producing other forms. So you can use it for heating homes, for instance, in a cold climate. You can use it for producing hot water that it's used in the industries as well. So the energy, the balance of the energy chain, it's very important in thinking sort of along from the production, right? From the Aramco extracting oil from the ground, all the way to reusing the heat that is produced from burning fossil fuels, producing electricity, and so on. So it's thank you. That's a very good picture of how we can look holistically at the energy chain, right? At the energy transformation, and the use of AI and technology, as you mentioned, for analytics, for measurements. it's definitely a field that has to continue. We didn't think of energy in these terms. This is brought by sustainability. Actually, when we start to think about energy conservation and transformation, so we extract as much value out of the processes and reduce in the process the, as you mentioned, scope 3, especially carbon footprint. And if we talk about innovation, we talk about the education you mentioned. I have sort of two questions. One is what advice you give to your students? I know you're teaching and you have to tell us a little bit about what you're teaching in the university, and also what you advise for people that change the career in the midterm, right? They had different jobs and they now coming back and they want to learn about sustainability and participate in sustainability. So two questions, for the students and one for the people in the middle of their careers. What
Uh,
advice would you give them?
okay, thank you. I will start. I will start with the students. Okay, for the students, I always tell them uh, keep learning, improve your knowledge about sustainability, about decarbonization. Uh, uh, don't be afraid of innovations and new ideas. Always link your idea to a specific challenge in the society. Always think differently and critically. Okay, and look to the broad picture. Don't confine yourself in a small area and start to think. No, get outside and look into the problem from different perspectives. Sustainability challenges have no one perspective, always different perspectives: economic, scientific, social. These perspectives are crucial, and if you would like to propose a solution, you have to take care of all of these perspectives. This is for the students. When we look into the friends in the mid of their career and would like to change their careers to sustainability, which I believe now has a great opportunity and a lot of we can say a lot of opportunities and a lot of vacancies. I would say to them, build on your previous experience. Okay, your previous experience is a valuable experience, and also improve your knowledge. Try to learn the jargons of sustainability because sustainability has its own language. Okay, the decarbonization, scope 1, scope 2, the integration of renewable categories, ISO standards, requirements, all these jargons must be acquired and must be also practiced. AI, AI is a great challenge. You have to focus on what we can call the AI literacy. Try to learn how AI can be used to improve the sustainability, and then to focus on the collaboration between the AI and the sustainability topics, and again build on your previous experience, whatever your experience may be in a specific field. In mechanical engineer, you may be electrical engineer, you may come from human resources perspectives. You will find sustainability in every aspect of your experience, but it will need a little bit of effort in order to master the language and to master the main ideas, and then you can start and move freely between different vacancies of this industry.
Oh, thank you. And two things. One of them is I tell my students is what you learn in university, it's a dictionary, the language. the language of your profession. And absolutely, totally agree with what you said about the learning new skills through learning new terminology, right? New language. The other part is, and you mentioned, and we had interviews, and people talk about multidisciplinary. And actually, one of the previous guests at our Actionable ESG, she talked about transdisciplinary. So it's like speaking multiple language and being adapt to different cultures, right? You mentioned AI, which is sort of one different way. Then AI applied to sustainability. We talk also today about how this plays into Aramco, how it plays into supply chain. So this is the transdisciplinary element, right? We bring technologies together to foster better sustainability. So a lot of it comes together in this question and in
Exactly.
your answer. And
Exactly.
I would like to invite you back. I would like to thank you for taking the time to visit with us today, and to make sure to tune in every week for a new episode of AKFI Actionable ESG Talk series. You'll gain new perspectives like the one from Dr. Tash today on how to mitigate risk and create value by integrating AI, ESG, sustainability, and digital transformation. And until next week, goodbye from Manuel and Dr. Tash.
Thank you, Manuel, for having me today. It was a fantastic talk. I really enjoyed talking with you, and wish you all the best. And thank you again for this wonderful talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you. Wish to see you soon.